Hey guys, what I want to talk today, hopefully it'll be fairly quick. I've done other videos on this. I've got a lot of new subscribers. Those videos are old, I understand that. But I want to talk about a realistic bug out. For the most part, most of you are going to experience an inconvenience reason to bug out. Gas line, sewer line, flooding, health, water issues, things like that with your home. And for the most part, you're all going to end up at a Motel 6 or at a family or friend's house close by. That's perfectly acceptable reason to have a bag together or have a tote together, which the Red Cross tells you to put everything in a tote, so you got candles and things for power outages. The main reason behind all this is they want you to be a little bit self-reliant. They don't want to have such a taxing resource draw from all these people that need things. Why not have stuff to prepare yourself and not have to go stand in line to get water and food rations when your municipal water gets undrinkable? Why not have water set aside? It doesn't have to be China invading that requires a bug out bag. What I want to talk about today is the realistic aspect of bugging out and sort of that inconvenience bugging out versus a real emergency. And I don't think anybody here has even a clue what a real emergency and the kind of choices you'd have to make in a real emergency. We all prepare, we all romanticize this bugging out and having a bag ready with all this kind of stuff. The reason I'm doing this video is because I'm doing a bug out, probably two different bug outs, several days each, and it's for the zombie squad forums. Now, a lot of you laugh at the zombie aspect of this, but if you're preparing for zombies, you're kind of prepared for most anything. Um, One of the things that I really like is that practice to preach aspect of the zombie squad forums. There are many forums out there um, that don't do anything. It's all pictures and fluff on a forum, and the zombie squad guys advocate getting out and practicing with your gear. My get home bag is basically what most of you consider a bob. It's a 72-hour bag. My bug out bag was going to be much longer distance, therefore I needed a bigger bag. 72 hours is something you could almost just sleep through. It's going to be an inconvenience and not a real emergency. Now, your bob is just a go between. This isn't an aspect of walking into the woods and never coming home, or an inch bag, which stands for I'm never coming home. Some of you guys asked that in a previous video. I'm bringing it up. Parlus did a video saying, if grab your bug out bag and die, and he was basically pointing towards those people that think they're going to grab their bag, they're going to walk into the woods, and they're never coming home because they're going to live off the land. That takes a huge amount of skill and resources to accomplish. It's not realistic. To say that it would never happen or that you wouldn't have to suffer without modern conveniences is a different aspect. Um, your bob is your go between, so you need to have somewhere to go to. Being a nomad, rolling around, pilfering off people is not a plan. Um, my go between was from Seattle to Oregon. Therefore, I needed a bigger bag. Therefore, I needed caches. If you guys watched any of my videos for a while, you guys remember I had a video called Wandering the Northwest. That was me removing caches I had all along the Cascades from Seattle to Oregon in preparation of me moving down to Oregon. I didn't show that aspect in there, but you guys saw I was all the way from Seattle to Rainier to Mount St. Helens, Mount Hood, all the way down the Cascades in those videos, and that's because I was pulling resources that I had previously cached there. It's the only way to do it. Even with the bag you see in front of you, it only has 10 days of high calorie food, and that's about all you're going to pull in a winter scenario. All right, the realistic part of this, for a realistic emergency, not just an inconvenience, not because your teddy bear got soaked in a flood. I'm talking about actual real emergencies. It's something that nobody has had to make those hard choices. Um, our society, the way it's been going, uh, you just can't even comprehend those choices. One of the things I ask people to do is to vision your worst case scenario and plan for that. And the reason there is because if you ask yourself the hard questions, it's going to be easier to answer them. It's like the military, where they train to fight to train. Is you need to ask those questions before it happens. I mean, we're talking hard questions. Is it realistic for me to expect me to take Max my dog several hundred miles down a trail in the middle of winter, no, it's not realistic. If it had to be done, the hard choices have to be made. Bugging out with families is another one I get all the time. Is it realistic? No, but if you're expecting to maintain the same level of living comfort that you are now, it's not going to happen. But the will to survive will really kind of overcome a lot of that. Look at history. I won't get into it, but this is the kind of the down, very dark side of the bugging out scenario. Most people huff off the part of grabbing a bag and leaving, um, simply because they don't want to ask themselves those hard questions. And it is not a good subject. We're talking about leaving family members. We're talking about leaving loved ones, making hard choices. The flip side of that humanity is, if it hits the fan, can you make the hard choices? Asking yourself now will help you answer those when they come up. And the factor that nobody really talks about is the human factor. The human factor is the fact that even in an emergency, even with all the preps I have in that bag, or I have in my tote, or I'm ready to put in my car, am I willing to leave my community, my extended families, my friends, and turn my back on them? If it is an earthquake scenario in an urban environment, if I'm not deathly injured, guaranteed I'm going to be helping people pulling out of the rubble. I'm not going to be grabbing my bag and leaving for the mountains. It's that humanity factor that makes us human that really people don't talk about in that bug out scenario. Most people say they will bug in, they will never bug out. But I don't think they really know the reason they're saying that. And that's probably because they either have decided not to make that hard choice and leave their families or their loved ones or their pets or the comforts of home, is because they don't have the will or they don't want to survive without those amenities. And I don't want to ramble on too long. This video is not meant to be long. It's sort of a video response for urban survival tools. Um, he does some really nice sort of daily prep videos, and he was asking himself that sort of question and putting himself out there. I'll put a link down below. But it's the realistic bug out for an actual emergency, not just an inconvenience, that I think a lot of people don't want to think about, because those hard choices are something that they don't want to ask themselves. And I'm going to stop it there. I don't want to get too dark, but I want to try to take out that that romanticized version of the bug out bags. And the videos you're going to be seeing are just me practicing my skills with enough gear and for training. That pack is well over 60 plus pounds, probably almost 80, with no water in it right now. So anyway, I'm going to stop rambling. I thank you for your time, and try to ask yourself those questions that you don't want to ask yourself to see what kind of answers you'll come up with, and plan for that.